I'm joined on the line right now by the undefeated junior middleweight contender Charles Conwell back on the show. Charles, it's been a while, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be on the show. How are you?
Doing pretty well, not too bad myself. Can't really complain, except for this snow that we are currently dealing. The day that we are recording this, for those who are watching and listening, it is May. It is snowing. It's very weird. I'm sure you've lived in Cleveland a lot longer than I have. You lived, or I should say, in the state. And I'm not used to this. Even spending 4 years, 4 or 5 years in New Jersey, I'm not used to snow in the middle of May. So I don't know if this is a common occurrence here in this state, but it's certainly a little weird.
Yeah, sometimes it snows late in Cleveland. That's like the hardest part about living in Cleveland is the winters.
So, obviously, before we kind of get to the nitty gritty when it comes to the fights and everything, how have you been handling the ongoing situation with COVID-19? How are you and your loved ones been? I hope you guys are staying safe right now.
Man, we're just staying safe, make sure we're doing all the hygiene things, washing our hands, keeping hand sanitizers, using our masks and whatnot. Just trying to stay safe and just use all the cleanliness, and things like that.
Obviously, you lived in Ohio a lot longer than I have, but it in the last couple of weeks, that's kind of the state that's slowly starting to kind of go back, reopen. It almost seems like things are kind of getting back to normal. Again, I'm saying that as someone who has right now lived in Ohio for less than a year, and you have lived in the state far longer than I have. But it seem like things are kind of going back to normal. There's maybe a sense of normalcy that prior to this whole situation with the coronavirus.
I don't think it'll never be all the way back until normal. Normal is like next year, but I do see like that the states are starting to open up more things soon. So I'm just appreciative of that. If they open up everything, it can give me more of a chance to like train with everybody else and just get back in the gym and just do my thing like I've been doing.
Obviously, with the quarantines and businesses shutting down and gyms closing, I'd imagine it has been rough and difficult for you to stay in shape and finding ways to creative ways to say the least, to remain in fighting shape, to be ready for when you get the green light to fight again. What have you been able to do that's been maybe a little bit different from what your normal when your normal routine is when it comes to preparing for a fight?
Uh, at first it was my coach is in Toledo where I train at. They have a private gym, but when I was at home for a while, it really was because like you said, no gyms are open. All you have to do is like at home things like running outside, maybe jump roping, shadow boxing. But I couldn't really do really much else like hitting the bag or anything like that. But I could just do like cardio type things mainly.
I saw on Twitter that you might be that you're kind of entering training camp, so to speak. That does this mean that we have a bit of a rough idea of when we might expect you back in the ring? Maybe not necessarily a solid date, a concrete date, but maybe an idea in say X amount of weeks or so and so month.
Yeah, later this summer for sure. So I'm just waiting for the exact date and location and everything. But I know it's late this summer. I'm just gonna keep everyone waiting for the exact date. But I can tell them for sure later this summer. And it's still gonna be on Showtime too. So that's good.
Okay, so it's still planned to be the original idea, which is you were originally supposed to fight in the main event of a Showbox card in April. So that is still, well, from what I'm getting from you, that's still the plan, right?
Yes.
Promoters and sanctioning bodies, and I'm glad you're here because I want to get your opinion on this. They have been kind of brainstorming different ways to make sure the sport returns as soon as possible. Nicaragua just had a show a few weeks back with social distancing being or social distancing practices being done when it comes to the crowds. They're staying like 6 feet apart, but so it was a limited attendance crowd. Some suggested empty arena shows. Some even sanctioning bodies suggested maybe potentially doing judging from remote locations, like not necessarily have them be at ringside, but more so have them do be at a secluded area where they could watch the fight on a monitor and judge the fight right there. I kind of want to get your thoughts in regards to these ideas, these suggestions, as far as boxing and trying to return as soon as possible? Are you in favor of waiting it out, or do you prefer just getting things on as quickly as possible, or even doing like these empty arena shows?
I think it's a fun to not something about boxing, but like you said, definitely precautions that got to be taken. And I think that fighting without a crowd is like one of the best things to do. But there's less amount of people there, less amount of random people who probably haven't got tested, or who probably we don't know who has the symptoms or whatnot. So I think the one without the crowd is like the best solution. The one with the judges at home, I really don't agree with that. I like when the judges be after fight ringside so they can see everything in person. They might miss something. I really don't like the TV version. The one that's ringside, I prefer that. So this probably the fights where the no audience and just live on national TV is the best option for me.
Obviously, last time we had you here was last fall. It was right before the fight against Patrick Day, and obviously, no need to just talk about what happened that night. It's been covered a lot already. Obviously, it. No one blames you for it, and things have been, and it's a very, very scary situation that happened with Patrick Day. Thoughts and prayers to his family, to his loved ones, and everything. But you were out of action for several months, and you returned back in February. When you were making that walk to the ring earlier this year in your return fight, did it feel different? Did it feel like this? It's not how you're normally feeling in terms of your mindset, given what happened in the fight previously, or do you feel like you try to keep things as normal and as business as usual type of sense when it comes to fighting? What was your mindset making that walk down to the ring?
To be honest, I was just thinking like I was gonna go out there and do my thing and just perform how I usually perform. I just wanted my performance to be like how I usually perform, or maybe like even better. To be honest, so just going after every fight, so I wanted my performance to be keep getting better and better, and just going there with the same confidence and the same mentality as I had before. That's what really my goal was to me.
Putting aside the tragedy with Patrick Day and everything, but looking on the fight itself and looking at how you performed, it was a great performance. I think a lot of people were impressed with what you were able to show to a lot of people who were watching on the zone. You show that you're able to move well in the ring. You can trade. You can make fights certainly interesting. You got power, and you're capable of taking hits because you got hit pretty hard in some of those rounds against Patrick Day. Do you feel like that performance, you feel like people are more aware of what you can do, and that people are starting to realize you're starting to become a player at 154 pounds?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think a lot more people that knows me. Not as much as I want, not as much people I want to know me, but I definitely feel like I have a couple more eyes on me. So now I just got to keep doing my thing, keep winning, convincingly dominating the sport. I mean, dominating the guys I'm getting in there with. And like you said, the fans will like follow me. They'll come watch me after you just keep hearing about this guy. Keep hearing about the guy. You'll eventually watch him. You'll eventually like what you're seeing. Once I keep doing my thing and just getting better and better.
Obviously, you're not the only guy that's rising at the 154-pound division. It almost seems like this division, and you can make a strong case that 154 pounds is the best division in boxing right now. Obviously, you got guys who almost every few months prior to the pandemic, it almost seems like there's been guys that elevate, that become a star every few months. I mean, we got, in the span of the last couple of years, we've had Jared Hurd, Julian Williams, Jermell Charlo, Tony Harrison, Jeison Rosario, Patrick Teixeira, I don't know if I'm missing someone, but they've all won titles. They've been in big fights. It's a very interesting division. It's very unpredictable at top. As a fighter who is gunning to be the top dog in that division, who do you think is right now the best fighter at 154 pounds?
I think one of the top guys probably Charlo because he had a belt for like a while. I think Law is still a force to be reckoned with. And I think there's a lot of top guys, but I would have to say Charlo is maybe top guy in the division to me.
I'm looking at the rankings right now, and you're ranked in the top 15 in the IBF, and the current champion is Jeison Rosario, who also holds the WBA title. He's the only one holding more than one, world title from the major sanctioning bodies. Is that the type of fight is that the guy that you feel like you're most comfortable fighting if you were to fight any of the champions right now? Is that a fight that interests you a lot? Discounted the fact that it's for the world title, but is that a fight that you're interested in having?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like I can come on top in that fight sooner than a lot of people think. I think I'm one of the most slept on fighters in the division. So I think, like you said, a lot of guys are super on me, but I definitely think I can take Jeison Rosario even now, to be honest. But like they said, my time will come soon, and I just can't wait to get the chance to show everybody, let everybody know, like Charles Conwell is here, and he's here to stay.
You know, you started 2020. You got the win earlier this year, and you were going to be in the main event of a Showbox card in April. So kind of looking at goals for this year, was the idea of maybe perhaps being on national television more often a goal for you to get yourself, you put your name out there a little more? Was it to just keep collecting experience inside the ring? You've only had it like you're not a 20 fight guy, and yet you're already making waves, beating guys like Patrick Day, already being ranked in the top 15 with like a dozen fights under your belt. And is that what would been your what was going to be your goal? Was it to maybe even get a regional title, put yourself in a position where you can fight in a title eliminator in 2021? What were they?
Yes, it was definitely the second one. Like I said, started building momentum, starting to fight those guys like on that level, on a higher level, and starting to get more experience and start fighting those guys to be in title contention by the end of 2020, and to be serious, really go for a title 2021. That might got pushed back a couple of months, but that's still our goal though. Maybe it might be like 4 months or 6 months later than we expected, but that's still the goal.
Obviously, you've put yourself in a position where you could be in line for big fights down the road. And obviously, you're no. I don't think it's fair to call you a prospect right now, even though you don't have that many fights under your belt. But the fact of the matter is, you have proven that you can fight veterans and come out on top. So, is there anyone on your radar at 154 pounds that you feel like you can beat and and elevate yourself to that next level? Maybe whether it be a current champion or a former title holder, a veteran, a top 15 guy. Is there anyone on your radar that you hope to maybe step into the ring someday soon?
Probably Jeison Rosario. I think he's got the most dope, so he's like the biggest fish right now. Like comparison to like champions, he got the most dope. He's the only fight champion in the division. So I fight Jeison Rosario, and then I fight Patrick Day, and then I fight Charlo a lot. I think that's my list.
Lastly, obviously, with the quarantine, the coronavirus, things have been a little different in regards to everyone's schedule. So, I'm curious, what have you been able to do in your free time?
I actually started playing the game a little bit more. I started gaming a little bit, got into the gaming a little bit. And that's really gaming, and that's really about it, to be honest.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Have you been? What video games have you been able to play?
Fortnite and 2K20.
Oh, okay, nice, nice. Is there anything that you want to say to those who to your fans, to those who may be seeing you for the first time ever? Do you have, how can people reach you on social media? Any final message that you want to say, plugs, whatever? Floor is yours, Charles.
I just want to let everybody know they can follow me at Charles Conwell on all platforms, all social media platforms. Just continue to follow me, support me, and just keep motivating me with all the great energy and good vibes. And we headed to the top.
Thanks, Charles, for coming on board. I really do appreciate it. I wish you nothing but the best in your career. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Conwell, the unbeaten junior middleweight contender. Hope to have you back on the show, man. I really do appreciate it, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck in your future, and hopefully we get to see you in the ring soon.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Hey everybody, Carlos Toro here. Thank you so much for checking out my video. If you like what you saw, make sure to hit the like button. Comment down below on what you thought of the video. Who do you want me to interview next? What content do you want to see on the channel? Or just whatever you want to comment on. Really do appreciate it. And if you want more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notified on all my videos. And until then, I will see you in the next one.